As the sun began its descent beyond the towering trees of the Scandinavian wilderness, casting elongated shadows across the forest floor, Luke, Hutch, Dom, and Phil found themselves faced with an unexpected obstacle. Phil, the youngest of the group, had stumbled over a hidden root and now lay crumpled on the ground, clutching his ankle in agony. Their planned route, a well-trodden path that wound its way through the ancient woods, suddenly seemed impassable with Phil's injury. Time was ticking away, and with darkness threatening to envelop them, they knew they needed to find an alternative route to their destination, a remote cabin nestled deep within the heart of the forest. Hutch, the pragmatic leader of the group, surveyed their surroundings with furrowed brows, his mind racing with possibilities. "We can't waste any more time here," he declared, his voice tinged with urgency. "We need to find a shortcut, something to bypass this section of the trail." But Luke, ever the skeptic, voiced his concerns. "Are you sure that's wise? We don't know what dangers lurk off the beaten path. We could get even more lost than we already are." Dom, the peacekeeper of the group, attempted to soothe their escalating tensions. "Let's not panic just yet," he suggested, his voice calm but tinged with uncertainty. "We'll stick together, keep our wits about us, and make a decision as a group." With hesitant nods exchanged between them, they made their choice. Ignoring the gnawing sense of unease that clawed at the edges of their consciousness, they veered off the trail, plunging into the dense undergrowth of the forest. The woods seemed to close in around them, swallowing them whole as they forged ahead, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of pine needles underfoot. Shadows danced among the trees, casting sinister shapes that seemed to watch their every move. As they pressed deeper into the heart of the forest, an oppressive silence descended, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or distant hoot of an owl. The air grew thick with tension, anticipation hanging heavy like a shroud. Little did they know, their decision to take a shortcut had led them straight into the clutches of an ancient evil that lay in wait within the dark recesses of the woods, its malevolent gaze fixed upon the unsuspecting intruders. And as the shadows lengthened and the darkness grew ever more impenetrable, their journey into the heart of darkness had only just begun. With each step deeper into the dense woods, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive, as if the very trees themselves were closing in around them. The friends, weary and disoriented, stumbled upon an eerie sight, a dilapidated cabin, its weather-beaten walls barely standing against the encroaching wilderness. Hutch, ever the pragmatist, suggested they take refuge inside until morning. "It's better than sleeping out in the open," he reasoned, though his voice quivered with uncertainty. Reluctantly, the group pushed open the creaking door, revealing a dim interior shrouded in shadows. The air was thick with dust and decay, and a chill seemed to permeate their bones as they stepped across the threshold. But their relief at finding shelter quickly turned to unease as they sensed something amiss, a palpable sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. Strange symbols adorned the walls, etched in faded paint that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. As they huddled together for warmth, whispers echoed through the cabin, disembodied voices that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Shadows danced along the edges of their vision, flickering in the dim candlelight. Then, without warning, the atmosphere shifted, the air growing thick with menace. Objects began to move of their own accord, as if manipulated by unseen hands. The friends exchanged nervous glances, their fear mounting with each passing moment. And then they saw it, a dark, shapeless figure lurking in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. It moved with a predatory grace, stalking its unsuspecting prey with malevolent intent. Realization dawned on them in that moment, they were not alone in the cabin. They were being hunted by an ancient evil that had lain dormant within the forest for centuries, waiting for unsuspecting travelers to stumble into its domain. With terror coursing through their veins, the friends knew they had to escape, but the malevolent force that hunted them seemed to anticipate their every move, its supernatural powers closing in around them like a tightening noose. Trapped in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape, they clung to each other in desperation, their only hope of survival to confront the ancient evil that lurked within the shadows of the abandoned cabin. But little did they know, their encounter with the malevolent force was only the beginning of a descent into darkness from which they may never emerge. As the night deepened and the forest seemed to close in around them, the friends found themselves ensnared in a desperate fight for survival. Every rustle of the leaves, every snap of a twig, sent shivers down their spines as they struggled to evade the relentless pursuit of the ancient evil that lurked in the shadows. With each passing moment, the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred, and the friends found themselves facing terrors beyond their wildest imaginings. Strange creatures prowled the underbrush, their eyes glinting with malevolent intent, while eerie whispers echoed through the trees, sowing seeds of doubt and fear. But perhaps the greatest threat came from within themselves, as the darkness of the forest seemed to awaken their deepest fears and insecurities. Hallucinations plagued their minds, twisting reality into a nightmarish tableau of horrors that threatened to consume them whole. As tensions rose and trust waned, they were forced to confront not only the external threats that surrounded them but also the demons that lurked within their own hearts. Secrets long buried rose to the surface, fracturing the fragile bonds of friendship and pushing them to the brink of despair. But in the face of overwhelming odds, they refused to surrender to the darkness that threatened to engulf them. Drawing strength from their shared determination to survive, they banded together, their resolve steeled by the realization that their only hope lay in unity. With each step through the twisted maze of the forest, they fought back against the encroaching darkness, clinging to the flickering light of hope that burned within their hearts. And as dawn broke on the horizon, casting its golden rays across the shadowed landscape, they emerged from the depths of the woods, battered and bruised but alive. Their harrowing ordeal had forged bonds that could never be broken, and though the scars of their ordeal would linger long after they had left the forest behind, they knew that they had triumphed over the ancient evil that had sought to claim their souls. For in the end, it was not the darkness of the forest that defined them, but the strength and resilience of the human spirit, a light that could never be extinguished, no matter how deep the shadows may fall.